Yahoo, Prof here. We got another video for you guys today. King Arthur is already here because he says it's anime watching time, which it is. But we're not sitting down and watching anime. What do you think you got there, dude? Yeah, that webcam is acting up. So if you want to give it a what for, let me know. It's all yours. What we have for you guys, though, is another video sponsored by LTTstore.com. And the reason why we're doing this, even though it is quite late, at least for my schedule, I can get later for my schedule, but, you know, later aside, is because I want to put one of these to some real-life testing or over the next week or two, and I'm going into the office tomorrow, which means we're grabbing this guy, which is oh, there's King Arthur. I almost squished you, my guy. Where'd you come from? Yeah, you're so stealthy. Yeah, you're so stealthy. The big orange boy, yeah. I didn't hear him at all. But this is the LTT Commuter Backpack. So we're going to open that up, and what I'm actually going to do is transfer, because what I mainly do is commute. Now I do drive myself, but that is still commuting. I don't use mass transit. However, I do need to tote all of my work stuff to and from work also, depending if I'm on call for IT stuff. I very likely have to tote it with me. I'm not going to say wherever I go, but, it's something that comes around with me just about everywhere. This backpack was the one that was issued to me by the company shortly after I started. And I've been using it ever since. They have now given us a new one, but I don't like it. So maybe this LTT commuter will stick. And we'll see how far we get in this video. I'm for sure going to unbox this with you guys right now. And then we're going to kind of go over... King, are you eating the tape? King Arthur. LTT store, I guess you got some good tape there. Is that yummy? Okay, you broke it off. You can't actually drop it. King, drop it. Drop it. Chewing on it, I don't mind. Actually, ingesting tape is not a thing cats should do. That's not your fault, LTTstore.com. That's Big Orange Boy's fault. You see, he hears it. He wants it. He's going to go look for it now. Yeah, did I take your fun? Now the kitten's on her way over here. Probably trying to figure out what the heck's up. So, let's take a look at this and open it up. And then I'll we'll kind of go over what's going on with this bag. I might have watched one video from Switch and Click, I think, on it. But never with the intention of buying. As you saw, I have backpacks. I also have my old backpack that was way overloaded for my previous on-site job, and this is actually what I used all through college. Right here, this Oakley guy, and I had it way overloaded for my on-site job. So that realistically probably should have been replaced more with the big LTT bag, which we will also compare. Not in this video. because I could have used more space. I overloaded it, which is why that one had to come out of service. It did get repaired, though, because I have a very, what do you say, like, not handy mom, but, like, she can sew and all that sort of stuff. And luckily it was repairable. Actually, my denim work bag there also had to get repaired because I'd been using it now going on 4 years. And most of it is in condition. So, warning, plastic bags can be dangerous. So this is a plastic bag. That you're like, of course it is, you dum-dum. No, that's not a given. A lot of times, LTT will use, especially for their shirts that aren't like their standard. I knew this would happen. King Arthur, what are you doing? You gotta go in the box. And now that there's space, the kitten wants to go in the box. Ay, ay, ay. Are you checking out the LTT screwdriver that's in there? Yeah? You want that? I don't know if cats can use screwdrivers. Look at that. She's probably going to hop in there and bop him. Alright, back on track, hopefully. A lot of LTT stuff does not come in plastic bags, but actually like a recyclable cellulose-based bag. You know, like it's not plastique, whereas this is plastique. I don't see any recycling logos on it, I don't think. Doesn't mean you can't recycle it, but usually it'll have, you know, like whatever number it is. So this may just be trash rather than... Don't quote me on that. I think some of that depends on your jurisdiction and their Canadian versus, you know, America. Ooh, it's got gripper in there. Okay. I shouldn't go too soon or too hard or too fast on that. All right. I personally, I'm going to admit this outright, I've never been a fan of these smooth. I know a lot of people are. Even when I was, I want to say like this trend started picking up 2000, late 2000s, I'm going to say. I might be wrong. Should we ask Gemini just to see the lulls? When did the smooth outer backpack trend start? See what it says. Late 90s, 2000s. Minimalist line. Yada, yada, yada. Yeah, so I've never been a fan of these. Because that means that, and you'll see with my Oakley how far I took that. I may have pushed it a bit out of shape and required it be repaired, okay? But the issue, one issue with a smooth front like this is that it can only ever be this large. And holding this in my hands, this is actually smaller than that denim bag that you guys just saw in here. Denim bag, I don't know if it'll give me a liter. The Klein, the Cookies, 16 pockets, 17-inch laptop, which is actually freaking needed at this point. It doesn't give me like a liter size like most. What's funny is the Amazon listing only says a 15.6-inch laptop, not a 17-inch laptop. I can tell you can fit adjustable thermostats traditionally 25-liter bag is what that is. Versus the LTT Commuter, LTTstore.com. It's like, oh, you're supposed to have this on it. 20 liter. So 5 less liters. Now, I have a very defined amount of things I need for work. That is what will qualify or disqualify it for me. But we are losing 5 liters. I do have our new bag, which I thought was too small, which is this North Face connector, I think. Connector. It's supposedly 28 liters. I call bullshit. And maybe it is, but yeah, I'm sorry. That doesn't even get as thick as the LTT. It might be a little bit taller, like this way, but I can tell you it does not nicely fit a 16-inch laptop, which is what I've now been issued. So we'll find out with this guy here. What does LTT say it fits? Oh, they also say 20-liter form factor. Yeah. Max laptop size fits most 15-inch laptops. Whew! All right. So we got the black outer. I've just never personally, because this is the biggest it'll get. It's got the Reprieve fabric. They show like, oh, that is the shape of a water bottle. You know, the Nestle water. Yum yum. Reprieve polyester made from recycled plastic bottles. I have Reprieve on my III headphones. They made both, I think, ear cups and headbands potentially. I know for sure ear cups, and I do quite like them. So this is a material that I'm familiar with. I also have like the LTT Tech Sack. They've made other things with this fabric before. Let's see, what do we got from the outside? Let's keep going here. Up here, this is a microfiber. Let's do a zoom on in here. This is a microfiber lined. I'd say it's kind of rough microfiber, if it's microfiber. But it is like a hardened, sort of somewhat reinforced pocket. They intend for glasses, if I remember correctly, because I have watched LTT's own videos on these, I should say, besides the, I think I watched the commuter itself on the switch and click. Now, I am somebody that you may have seen in the beginning of the video. I wear glasses. I also, even prior to wearing glasses, have to wear sunglasses. However, I would never put them in there because I need this always on me. So this is my preferred one right now. Duluth Trading. I swapped out their crappy clip just for one of these Night Eyes slide locks so it never comes off. Also, the shorter the carabiner is, the closer it stays up in your body, the less flapping around it does. I can try these in here. Now, I personally, if you're somebody who's a casual sunglasses wearer, I could see potentially putting these in here. Oh, we need to put the bag farther away to stop hitting the camera. I mean, they do fit in there. These are Oakleys, but these are more like glasses style Oakleys. I do have plenty of, you know, bigger, like these are glasses frames that can be sunglasses or glasses. You know, to get dust all over them just now. So there's probably something in that little pocket. I'm gonna say crumbs, that's not the right term. But if you got like a reverse vacuum or a air compressor, I might want to give that a little blast. I got all these like little schnibbles on my glasses. I always carry a little cleaning cloth in there as well. Normally, if this is on my side, I put them in like this. There's these suspended, and this is a, that's really what you want if you're somebody like me who's carrying around glasses all the time. And you can see where the wear is on here, right there, right there. I've worn these through, I always have one Tigris. These are Tigris. If you, I don't know, one of those random EDC brands. Shit clip. This is also a bit bulky. Does not open up wide enough, in my opinion, to easily get your glasses out. This material in the LTT is softer than this, I would say. Yeah, much softer. So these are, you can see these a huge amount of wear by how the like ear grips have worn down, which is why I much prefer the kind that goes over like this, because you can get replacements. I also really like these. They're like spring steel armbands. They're super thin this way for headphones and stuff like that you put in your head. These block out a heck of a lot more light though, because they wrap around. Let's see, because these are definitely bigger. The opening isn't big enough, but once you get them in, they're in there. That seems to be safe enough, you know. So if you're an occasional sunglasses wearer, I think that would do fine for you. For somebody like me who, like I said, this is why this one got nixed. I thought I was gonna switch from that Duluth Trading because I like cut off the clip and modify it, and I was like, oh, this could be useful, or I could use that. Like, it's just going way too, and then this needs to open up like that far easily. So you can put that in there like that. But these are like my backup to my backup effectively right now. And this clip, that's way not big enough. I just showed you, like, you want something that you can't miss. Whereas this, with my side, like, look, my thumb is bigger than the clip. Hidden. I need something that I can grab, push through, and hook onto my belt loop or my belt without looking. And this, I mean, I could have cut this clip off and put it out around there, but I also try to have some sort of a design where I can blindly access them. This was my preferred one prior to that Duluth Trading. I could easily upside down, unclip that, and there's like a sock in here under tension, and then you can, now this sock is all stretched out because this is an old one. You can tell by how icky that thing, but look at how much strength that has. Like, these were really nice. This clip was fine. Often I would actually either put another clip through this one to hook on, because this clip's the wrong way to clip on your belt, right? Or it would constantly be like facing this way or that way. So, and which Oakleys are in here? Those feel much thinner. These are old glasses, I think. Yeah, those are real old glasses. Over time, that style for me does not work. I like having a plastic frame without nose pieces, and because otherwise I bend those little like things, and then like that uses what do you want to call it, like plastic wire that goes around the lens to hold it in. Not secure enough. I would have those popping out all the time. So yeah, I ended up not being able to get these anymore. And then also those big Oakleys that I don't think are still in here, are they? No. Wouldn't fit. I have some other older, bigger ones too. Oop, that was a crunch from something. We got glasses. Ooh, those you work quite often. probably put one of these pairs in here. So for those wondering how much I use sunglass cases, there's another one. This one did eventually give. It got soft down here where it would hit things most often. And it kind of went a little square. So that one had to be retired. But, you know. And then this clip eventually got retired because the down here would come off. Like this would separate too far. I don't prefer the stainless steel. I thought I'd like the stainless steel better because it would hold up better. The edges are sharper. You can see how much I wore down those edges. But it actually clips worse. Like this thing's supposed to lock it in place. You can see there that hasn't been locking it for, I'd say, a year or two. That only got retired a couple months ago. We got a couple more glasses though. Here's I think these are the 5s. Made in USA. It just says V. Yeah, 5 right there. This is the 2nd gen 5s. Back in the 90s, there was a 1st gen. That's more of a traditional Oakley. You know, easily fits in there. Then we have definitely those are more of a sleek pair. This is a very classic pair. This is the Minutes. Technically, I believe this is a Minute Gen 2. Minute 2.0. Yeah, much bulkier. You can see there, much bulkier. Yeah, it's the opening, I would say, is the biggest. Like it's got a pretty big cavity in there. I know they're trying to follow this sort of trend of the bag. I'll try putting them in face first. A little bit easier doing that. The Minutes fit fine as well. So like once you get them in there, and I think for a casual sunglasses user, that won't be an issue. Some of these, I wonder if I can still get some new lenses for. Those 5s have been. They only had like child-sized 5s for the longest time. That's usually if you're running how I ending up having to switch sunglasses at least is basically they can't cut lenses for me anymore. But yeah, if you're a casual sunglasses user, otherwise I will probably put something like that. Needs to be real quick and accessible. Headphones would be a big thing that I have in there that I would put in there. Let's keep going on the outside. You have some loops here. That's great for some of that stuff. Like sometimes I need to be in a place where I have to, so I don't lose them and forget them. I want to unhook my sunglasses from my belt. Because especially when sitting down in chairs and stuff where it's not like a temporary thing, like if I'm there for a half hour or less, I got no problem. If I'm going to be there all day, like I often am at work, I unclip them and clip them to a place on my desk so I don't lose them or forget them. If I was someplace where I didn't have a like desk or something, that would be a great place to clip something additional, right? Or some people, like I personally wouldn't do this, but some people have AirPods in those cases that then you can clip on. I personally wouldn't want that thing pricey always hanging from my bag. Now, something that I do have that's me jingle jangly on my on-site tech bag are all these adapters here. Right there. So it's DisplayPort, HDMI, VGA. We got Wi-Fi, we got Bluetooth. Heck, like this is super useful. I keep one of these in my lunchbox too, for even my current job. Just a Milwaukee. You can see how much that's used. Like this thing gets used all the time because that way I don't have to go to my full toolkit just to do a quick measure. And it's a Milwaukee, so it's actually like relatively, you know, durable, etc. And here we got pens outside for now. I got some headphones in a case. These are Cost Porta Pros hooked on. So that's where you're gonna use those little clippy things. They are up top though, whereas most of this is on the bottom or side, so it kind of keeps it out of the way. One of my backpacks had it on the bottom, which was its own issue, because then when you set it down, they would hit the ground this height, and then you have some up here as well. You know, that's pretty similar to that bag. But yeah, that's the sort of stuff I would personally use it for. You could also just dangle and hang stuff off of it. You know what I mean? Like if you want, you know, like there's like back in the day to be phone charms. You know, that was a hot trend in Japan. Now they have gunpla that go in little plastic OtterBox style cases with clear sides that they hang off their bags. Maybe you'll put it there. There is not much thickness here. Like I can barely fit my pointer finger in there. So just keep that in mind. It's really just meant for hooking something through and clipping it. You know, clipping it onto the, like, or these pulls seem decent. Plastic, flexible, LTT end cap on there. They're using their like water, I don't know if it's necessarily a waterproof zipper, water resistant zipper, but it's got this like covering on the outside that they have a lot on their like WAN hoodie and stuff like that. You guys might have seen I'm wearing the framework hoodie, so it doesn't have it. It's got a metal zipper. Kind of keeps it stealth because it hides the zipper seam, right? Like this would be pretty similar to their stealth bags. Here you have the pouches for the water bottles. I don't generally carry a giant water bottle. If I do, it's Zoryushi, which is only like a... Its base is like... Oh, I have one right here. Alright, we got two things I would carry over here. Empty water bottle. Just because I am never far. It's got goobers on it. I mean, this thing's probably 20 years old. Getting there, if not. So this guy, a really nice thing about this is it is the width of a can of soda pop. Here's a can of soda pop. So it's just like a tall can of pop. That obviously fits in there. Real nice, no problem. It does have to expand the side a little bit. You can see there's side expansion right there. Now the next thing I would like to find out, the next biggest thing, I do have LTT water bottles. I also got the Canadian one, like the red with the white, as part of helping out with LTX. So I do have, and I think that's the medium-sized one. I personally own the original, been bought and then changed the lid on before they had replacements. The original, was it orange on black, I think? This is a very similar thing. This is what I would say is one of the best Bluetooth speakers ever made. You can see it's been used to hell and back. I constantly think it's going to die, and it never freaking does. This is the Mega Boom 3 from UE Boom. They finally came out with the, I don't know if it's the Boom 4, the replacement of this. They got rid of the charging dock. And that is one thing I love about this, is I can, I don't have to think about charging this. I always put it back, and I put it back on the dock. It's charged the next time I need it, and I use it almost daily. Now it's like a C port, and I'm glad this thing keeps working, because to be truthful, if it did die, I would probably go on eBay and seek out another Boom 3 just to get, even though this is a micro B in here, I never use that unless I don't have the dock with me. What they need to do is put like a Qi or a MagSafe on the bottom, and then make a new dock for it. Does this fit? Sure does. I would say if you want to get it in there all the way, you still got a little bit. But you know, so this would be a common thing for you. I would probably swap these because more than likely the Mega Boom is going to be heavier. There you go. And also, I normally carry on the right strap because I'm a righty. You know, this is a change from the original LTT Backpack where these were on the inside. Something really cool that I noticed when I was just sticking my hands in there is, you see how it doesn't come out easily? That is because it's almost impossible to show. But they put in a grippy strip right there. So that's silicone rubber. And for those of you that have watched me and heard me rave about swap all your headband straps on your headlamps to the Skill Hunt, it's that same sort of silicone rubber that's on the inside. And what this does is it makes it so you don't have to crank this thing down on your head to have it hold, because this will actually grip your head and your hair. So you're not just relying on the stretchiness of it. And it's also like a much softer elastic than, let's say, what comes with these Army Tech ones. This is the Gen 3, I think. They do make a Gen 4 now. I don't like it. I have a whole video about that. I'm actually been buying up old stock of the Gen 3 as I find them, because I think the headlamp mount mechanism, the strap itself is the exact same, it turns out. Oh, and if the mount does not work for your headlamp, you can just replace the strap with that strap there. But it's that same material that's in there. And here's what it's like with the Mega Boom. This is like something I would regularly do, to tell you the truth. Because if I know I'm going someplace where I'm going to want music, I would bring this along. And look at that. That thing is not coming out there without you intending to. Between the elastic that's here and that silicone grip that's on the inside, it's easily grabbing this guy. And I don't know what to tell you about the, wow, serial number you can actually read on still. There's like paint in there. And I was trying to see if there was a year on this. I know I got this the year it came out. Shock resistant, waterproof. You don't have to really give a fuck about these. That's kind of the whole point about the UE Mega Booms. The Wonder Boom, which is their little guy, it's like this big. Really good. They had like a flat one you could throw in a pool. That one was not great. The Wonder Boom though is like this fat still, but only that. Well, so the biggest thing you lose is battery life. Still sounded great. Ran that Wonder Boom through many of my college years until this guy came out. Realistically, because the width of this is the same, and this is like, you know, big water bottle sized, I don't think it's any harder to carry. And realistically, anything smaller than that, I don't know that you're getting great sound out of it. I'd probably rather just do headphones or yeah, just use headphones probably. What else we got? Okay, on the back of here, you got like stealth pockets, so you can hide stuff, like probably passport or something like that. You know, if you don't want to carry it on you, you know, or other, I would say flat-ish things, because if you want, there's one on this side as well. If you want, stuff to slip into these easily, you don't want a lot of bulk here, at least based on my experience. You know, let me know if your experiences are different there. Okay, we got the chest strap. To be truthful, on my day-to-day, I might even pull that off. If you are actually commuting, biking, hiking, etc. Yeah, Peter? That would actually be very useful. I told you the kitten was going to come, guys. Maybe I have something I can put in there. Need that to be better accessible. I'll tell you what. Oh, she just took my chair. All right, so this vertical strap here, those can be quite useful for if you have like, I hook my access to work on there. The other thing, just to clip it on that you need quick access to. The other thing, if this is all strapped up, weighted down, you got the chest strap on. This is a headlamp, or can be a headlamp. You just snap this in here like that. Oh, hold on, gotta get that in there more. Like that. However, this is a vertical clip, right? So you go over to this. Oh, does it not lift? No, it lifts up, and it's a harder material there, which is good because that means you can do something like that and have a nice bright light vertically on your strap. And this is a small guy. This is not even 18-350. It's like a 14-500 or something selling there. Pre-run 3 from Olight. I am normally 1000% in here. This also has that silicone, but they kind of cheaped out and they only put on the front third of it. Normally I'm all for the Army Tech, but this has this case. This is something I was running into, is charging when I'm on site and I have to use this a whole bunch. Charging this, like, I take a lunch or something, I can just throw that in there and charge it. I don't have to get a cable out. I don't have to, and it's just in my bag, in my pocket. That would be another thing I could just go like that with, right? Because I use that all the freaking time. I might have said this on other videos, and I think it's still the truth. If it was more acceptable to just wear a headlamp all the time, I would. It's so useful to have just a bright source of light at hand, So we've got this reinforcement this way. That is to get on your luggage right there. Now I have heard from a bunch of people, a lot of these can be stretchy to get over. This is so tight, which makes it good on everyday, day-to-day. You might have trouble seeing it there. See that strap going across there? That is to get over your luggage strap. So that you can put this on top of your luggage when you're wheeling it through or going through customs, airport, etc. A lot of those on some brands are elastic. I've had issues with those because they stretch over time. At the same time, I would say because this one is not adjustable at all, might be a bit too tight. I would have to, and I'm not really planning on going to get my luggage out to give it a shot. But I believe I've heard of some complaints on that, because even here, like if you had something big and heavy in there and you stretch it, see how that has to poke in for it to come out. There's just not enough. Like you're actually deforming this part of the bag, which if you're truly full on it, you may or may not be able to do. For me with the chest strap, that's probably gonna have to go down to there if I keep it on at all. We have nice metal adjusters here with pieces down here to hold the extra flap of the strap. When I was a kid, if you had something, even if it was like, they used to do elastic bands around here. Like you could use a rubber band as like a cheap way of doing it. But you'd see stuff like one of these elastic bands around there. Even having that was the sign of having a high-end bag. Just like having something like that, even to retain it at all. We've come a long way, pretty much, since then. So I think we've made our way around the outside. And let's grab the letter opener here. Really sharp letter opener. Wink, wink. And I think that's all we can get at from the outside. You got some nice padding here. I think this will compare well to the what was that, North Face? That was supposed to be the replacement. Now Paisley's eating a string. Hold on. Blame the kitten for these constant interruptions. She's right in the bag too. Yeah, you putting all your catch moo on that? All right. So, yeah, and there's some ribbing back here with some light breathable fabric. Oh, you can see that light breathable fabric here. So what that should do is keep the bag off your back. Like my back is sweating right now because I got the sweatshirt on. I'm moving around a whole bunch. You don't see that part on the camera. Yeah, what are you doing? You making it smell like you and getting your fur all over it? Because you normally do that to my bag and everybody else's bag that comes over here. So that you'd be able to keep the sweat off your back from building up, because it's going to be raised off and it has that nice breathable fabric. I do wonder how well that'll wear though, because that is some pretty fine, stretchy fabric. Sometimes that can be easy to wear through, especially like rubbing. Like that, right? Let's take a look at what we got in the big front pocket that opens. Oh, well, remember how I said there'd be packing in there? I have heard that this is a complaint too, that there isn't like a built, like they have these here that are kind of acting as a, just like these up here, but it creates a crease down here at all times. So you have this nice bag, nice smooth front, but what ends up happening is right down there, you start getting creasing. So if that's gonna happen, I would almost say you should figure out a way to like hide that within the design of the bag, right? Like maybe make it look like a shell or something. That's why some of them have like layers, right? And if you put one of those lines right where it would crease, you wouldn't notice. All right. So I think I've seen some people asking for this to go down a little bit more, like down. But I think you're gonna start running into it not standing up if you do that. You got some do not eat here. We'll have a video on this coming up. I'm making not making my own do not eat. I'm making my own do not eat packets for my toolbox. Oh, you cannot go after that. The kitten wants to eat the do not eat. Probably because of this. Yeah, she thinks it's a cat toy. Look at that. How dare I shake it, shake it, shake it in front of you. Alright, so I believe they tend to call this pouch like the pouch of holding. It's just a really big opening in there. There is down here probably what I would say is for your AC adapter or something. That's very slim and thin. I'm going to tell you, any AC adapter that I have probably won't fit in there. That's like way too... Maybe. One thing I will tell you, when you want to load up your backpack, make sure you are... Dude, she's going... What are you doing, Pazer? Jeez. You want to make sure you put your laptop in before, so that you don't like protrude that way too far. And, you know, because you can go into whatever's back here and, you know, like... not have enough space, or like think you do, then you try to fit your laptop in or whatever else you need to carry in, and you have to rearrange stuff. So up here, this is the screwdriver pocket, because they always got to have one of those. Oh, that would be bad in here, but that's the Paisley. It's the Prismagic. It's a tight fit, I'll tell you that. There you go. There's your Prismagic screwdriver slot. And then what they did, because it's such a tall, skinny slot, is this zipper is so that you can get anything. Paisley, jeez. You can get anything that falls. Like, say if you had something shorter you had clipped here that then fell down into the bottom, you can unzip it and fish it out. Then we have our sort of like mesh. I could see throwing maybe earbuds or adapters or something into that. What I'm looking for those wondering, is the Scribedriver. For the money, not too bad. You guys that are used to my channel or have watched my other content will know there's plenty of better pens out there. For 30 bucks, it ain't bad though. But that's what that's for. That's a Scribedriver pocket. I would probably go and grab my new tactile turn. This is their seasonal. This is the latest one, the Abstract. You can probably tell who inspired that one. Of course, I had to get it in the yellow topper. Look at that. That also fits just fine in there. Now, would I do that? No. I do keep some extra pens in my bag, probably more than I need. I usually carry 2 extras of 2 different kinds. Because that pen is going to be part of my EDC in my pocket. Usually I carry 2 pens for that as well. And I wouldn't leave, I would consider leaving it to rot if I left. I mean, the Scribedriver is probably fine. But a lot of my other nice pens, I wouldn't want to leave them, like, quote unquote, leave them to rot in here, because they wouldn't get used a lot often, because the only time pens in this bag will get used, that's a Keras Customs modal, a little bit shorter, fit really nice. This is the one for that Squeers gifted me, all brass. Yeah, I would just put a standard pen that has the ink you like in there. We got another pocket that's not as stretchy up here. You might fit a like, or if you like your sticky notes, this is a 4x4 sticky note. That would probably fit in there easy. Yep. You can probably fit a small moleskin in there. That's what I use to carry around stuff, take notes, etc. Small denim moleskin. You probably know where that came from. Look at that. Yeah, that'd be fine. This pocket back here that goes, okay, so it's much bigger. That, I have a full-size notebook. Oh, it's magnetic there. Okay, so I have a brand new notebook as I'm in the process of switching. I can already tell you that this bag has less than my current bag of storage. But here is the notebook that I carry. I also generally carry a memo pad. The memo pad, very obviously, is not going to fit in here. So this is kind of getting in the way of where I want to put you can get her in there. Yep. I would actually probably take off that clip because I have no use for it. See, it's literally in the way of fully using that pocket. And it's not, can I get it behind there? Yeah, I guess you can do that and you can tuck it behind there. I guess if you have keys on there and you have something like this in there, you may well want to hide it, right? If you guys get what I'm saying, like, because some people would hook their keys on that thing. I think the attachment to the bag is not long enough. You need a little bit more length on that to maneuver it around. I would have also put it on the side of the bag here rather than putting it all flat there, because it's getting in the way. Also, like say for example, a lot of the bags that I've had that have had this, I think the Oakley's one of them. It's detachable in some way, so I could remove it if I didn't want it. But for now, what it'll do is it'll go behind if I just leave it in the pocket like that, and I can get my notebook in there at least. Maybe I'll have to compromise and no longer carry also a memo pad. But this is the one like I said, I just ran out of pages, so I was just transferring to a new notebook. This is a Rhodia reverse book, dot book. So it's like graph paper except dots. And then reverse means kind of it's 8.5 by 8.5. So if you want to do reporter style and flip it over, you can. Or if you want to do notebook style, you can. But then like memo pad, it tears out and it's perforated. So it's like, this is my perfect notebook because I like writing on a memo pad vertically and flipping over. But then like going back and reusing it, you also lose a lot of paper because most people don't use the back side of the paper on a memo pad. I better take that out. Need that. That's one of those important things that you don't need it, but when you need it, you need it. Let's put it that way. Then up here we have a zipper guy, and that goes way down. Paperwork maybe? My issue with putting anything substantial back here, with how deep that is you have all of this on the front. And it's a zipper. I don't even know that zipper would be wide enough to say fit the notebook I just showed you in there. So maybe longer cables, like if you're spooling up your USB-C correctly, you should get a pretty big loop. You know, maybe that's where your USB-C is gonna go, or like your thicker, nicer cable or something. It's got to be something also that you'd want in a zipper pouch. They're doing a lot with the bag of holding, okay? And I know that's because that's what Linus likes. I am more the kind of guy that likes a lot of pockets. Now, one way to do that would be you get yourself a tech sack. This is my secondary one. And you do that with it. And then you might even be able to do sideways. That's a little bit tight, I'd say. You could make it work. See? And then this whole bump down here isn't a thing because you've given up that space with that tech sack. And no, they did not send me the tech sack. This is I've had this. I bought a second one because I had a friend that wanted my original. And it's been kicking around here for some time because I just haven't taken the time to move stuff over. Also, originally I didn't want to. Normally I have no problem. Oh, you want the thing I have? Cool, as long as I can order another one. And they were out for the longest time. This sits very flat. It's not loaded up yet, but it sits very upright. A lot of the bags get real saggy. Now I think we're gonna figure out why momentarily. Yeah, so this is what a lot of people get, where it gets punched in, because if you leave it like that, it doesn't like pop out. And I would imagine after a while, if you don't pop it back out, it would get like, I don't want to say fatigued, but like, it would get used to being in the position of being squished in, right? You know, like if we bend this, zip it, bend it, put it back, zip it. You know, it's gonna get used to sitting like with a dent in it, basically, like that. The other thing that I would have probably done is this zipper pull, and I may even take it off and put something smaller on it if I end up dailying this. When you're zipping this guy, there you go. You saw the issue right there. So I would have given this one, or I could even shorten this by tying it. This one should probably be about that long. You know, like as short as it can be. Right? Just so that it doesn't get in. It's still a pull, right? But it's not getting in the way of the main one, if that makes some sense. Because, yeah, I've already ran into it twice. Because what it does is if this goes up like that, oh, then you hit it. And then you can't zipper till you get past it. Whereas if this still was a pull, but it used like a shorter thing, like I said, my trick will be just tie it off shorter. You know. So let's take a look at what's in here. There's got to be something hard in here, like cardboard. Oh, it attacked me. No. So the back is that stiff. It's attacking me again. It's because the clasp on this strap, because of how big this is, to make it easier to loosen and tighten, keeps getting hooked on the edge of that right there. So that is a downside of making your clasp easy to tighten and loosen, is that more do not eat, is that, you know, they're big and get in the way. I think we're probably going to have to split up. I may have to do I thought this whole back was going to be the laptop pouch. And that shows you how much I've watched videos on this. Really haven't. And why did I think that? Oakley backpack, 4 pouches actually. That's why I love it. 1, 2, 3. This is kind of like the spot of holding. This one's notebooks, that one's pens, or, you know, think about your stuff. And then this last one is just straight up backpack or laptop, all cushioned, doesn't go down to the bottom. Right, you're about that far from the bottom. This will fit a 17.3 because back in the day, if you had a big gaming laptop, it wasn't a pansy, and I actually had a big first Core i7 first gen with like a 600 series graphics card, I want to say, if that sounds right. No, that sounds too new. 400 series? No, it might have even been 200 series. 260 mobile? 16-inch laptop, no problem. Eats it for lunch, and you still have, like I said, this even though it's this lightweight of a bag, designed to gobble, because it had a dedicated laptop pouch designed to gobble a laptop right up. And I love that it has a separate one. That means that you do not, and this is something I do like about the Commuter as well, you do not need to go into anything else in your bag to get your laptop. And as somebody who works, and the primary thing is a laptop, that is very important. So here's the big test if I can even use this for work. Right here. 16-inch laptop. Negatory. Well, crap. And I know it's marketed as such. Maybe I can get it in there. Nope. See, this is why I complain to work about... I was already thinking this was a bit small with how stuff is. Also, they get, like, I can comment on something else here, but yeah, I will not be able to run this for work because that is not closing. Right? that means this backpack's gonna have to find a new home, because why have nice backpack if not going to use nice backpack, right? Let me make sure. Yeah, it has a pretty defined stop down there, which is right out here. So you have a lot of good. You want to be able to put your bag down and not have it go kabam. That's actually normally why you see it more like this, where it's like a padded pouch inside of another pouch, rather than like the Oakley, or you just saw the I think it's like Origin Audio. It's like some branded, where you can get it branded where it's in denim, where it actually has a side slit on it that you open up and pull it out. So that would be my big thing, is I can't actually use this for commuting, and that is purely because I can't fit a 16-inch laptop in it. No way. A 15.7, maybe. Like that can't happen. That was my... Though, a lot of our workers are aging, and they keep wanting bigger and bigger devices. I, however, want smaller device. I will show you that this thing's not alone for its class. You saw it easily be gobbled up by the Oakley. Here's the Origin Audio. That's a 20. What was that one? Like a 25 liter. 25? That doesn't sound right. Feels way bigger. Let me find out. The LTT is a 20 liter external volume. It says the Origin Audio. I originally said, oh, it's only 15. Oh, great. It doesn't like the new driver, the new beta driver from NVIDIA fixed my clear type text not working after monitors wake up with HDR on. You gotta refresh the graphics driver and then it's fine. Super fucking annoying. 17.6 inch, 25 liter capacity. So supposedly, the LTT and this Origin Audio are the same. No, this is bigger. It's a LTT is a 20 liter external volume. It really seems like it should be able to fit more for its size. Maybe I'm going crazy. It did seem smaller in person once I got it opened up. I'll admit that. So this guy, there's a side slit here. You just go like that, and if you can tell, I'm very familiar with that. Now this is one place that it is wearing. I probably need to get that fixed up too. We're starting to get a hole in the bottom corner right there. But otherwise, as you can tell, there's a line right there, and this has the strap for going on your luggage as well. That's a much wider, much better thought out strap in my opinion. But it goes to about here for the laptop. And going from a 15.6 to a 16, you got to be a little careful. If you look, like this corner gets caught up here. Like if you notice, it barely fits. But if this is the way it normally is, you're zipping against gravity, so it's fine. This is on here because everybody in the company got them. That way I can easily identify mine. Got those patches from CW&T. So also in here I run, that's my keyboard case for my Happy Hacking Keyboard Pro 2. That easily fits in there. And then I got my Mod Mic Wireless. Let's see, because that'd be the other thing, is this case has to fit in the LTT bag. Now you have the pocket holding, easily fits. That's what was making me think I was going to have no problem switching to this. is that is such a big and cavernous, but it turns out that with all the like the complex stuff they did down here, there is not like, I don't even know if a 15.6-inch laptop would fit in there. Like when I say 15, they probably mean like the 14 ones, kind of like this is a 16, where in reality that chassis would have probably been a 15.4 or a 15.6 previously. Oh, for those wondering, this also has, I would never put glasses in here. This is more like an RFID pocket, I think, with Mylar. I put in my number pad because about once a month I need that bad boy. You're like, why'd you buy a dedicated one for once a month? Because when I need it, and I shouldn't say it's like once a month, it's like 3 days once a month. And trust me, during those 3 days, I need it. Personally, I don't know. I might have preferred the pocket here being here, like on the body, because that way the rest of the bag would keep it up. Whereas once I put a laptop in there, it's going to take over. I will go grab what I would consider a fat 14-inch. Alright, so this laptop is about as big as I would go, personally, if I had a choice. And sorry to tell you guys, but most times for work, you don't fucking get a choice. This is my Surface Laptop Studio. Literally my perfect... I shouldn't say that. This is about currently as perfect as I can get. If they made a... I would want this in 13 inches. It's a 14. Also, this thing weighs like... Okay, so previously I ran Blade Stealth 13-inch with GPU. I think this is the late 2020 edition. Plus a Surface boogers on it or something? The fuck? A 6th gen Surface. This is lighter than the Surface Laptop Studio. Just to illustrate. You got like shmoo. It's like in the magnesium on the back there. I'll have to figure that out next. My storage has not been the best lately. Losing my office. I say lately, as in the past 2 or so years. But this guy, 14-inch, no problem. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Like you saw how close that 16-inch was. It was literally the corners. This, which is what I would personally carry if I had a choice. Now here's my issue with having the laptop on this flap. That. So you have to unzip it. And if you have it upright, you have to unzip it and hold it up while you get it out. And you're like, but the rest of the bag doesn't have anything in it, right? Most of the time for me, the laptop is probably going to outweigh the rest of this. Maybe I'm wrong, but I would prefer if the laptop was in line here, it would probably stay up. Now, that could just be preference. One thing I will say is this is a thick boy, right? Like I said, this thing weighs like a ton of bricks. Really cool. If you notice, there's no fans on. You're like, how the fuck does that work? Vents in the side. So I can never smother this in a blanket. Like when I put it on, turns out, where do I use my laptop the most? In my lap. Really nice design for that. You know, basically sucks in one side, vents out the other, or sucks in one side, vents out the screen, underneath the screen, I forget which. But this goes in here. I can feel it. And what I mean by that is if I put my hand here, I can feel the laptop hitting this. Now it's quite padded here, but what I'm getting at with that is this is a pouch for like an iPad. That's why they have microfiber. Oop. That's why I have microfiber here. Now, my previous on-site job would have loved that because I ran a 13 to 14-inch laptop, and for on-site stuff like doing site surveys and stuff like that, I was using an iPad Air. That would have been the one, I think, just prior to the M series that had the first one that had pencil support, I think. And I ran it with the pencil and everything. It was super nice. For that sort of stuff. So that's what that's for. I could see putting that in there. If you start going down with that, though, I'd be risky about putting anything in here, especially if there's a screen below it here. Even though that's microfiber, you wouldn't want anything hard or pokey in here. So like a screen wipe or like a microfiber cloth, that would be fine to put in there. Up here, normally this style holder here, I would throw in the AC adapter because normally it comes in two parts. You have the brick part with a cable and then the other cable. I would do brick part with cable, other cable, or sometimes it comes with brick, cable. My issue would be is that the depth back here, I'm hitting my laptop, like I said. So I don't know how much of this space you'd want to build up. Like realistically, to be safe, how I would probably run it is that better be a cable, like a thin, slim cable. Same thing over here. You don't, like a power brick is going to be like yay thick, right? You don't want that there. It's going to be much too, like you won't get the back closed, or it won't get closed nicely. I can try the surface in there. I already put it away, but so here's a surface. Here's from what I actually ended up going to school for, that I don't do too much anymore. Basically, the hobby became the job, and the potential job became a hobby, and the hobby became the job. So I was kind of, yeah, this Alcantara tracks dust, man. So I would probably go in this case, if you have the keyboard on it, I would put it like that, pen up, and we got no problem. So I could have run my old setup of Blade Stealth 13, which I still have. That's now my backup computer, because my old backup computer is a 6th gen. Thought it was around here someplace. But no, can I go to Windows 11? And I'm actually purposely leaving it without it, just so I can have a Windows 10 machine that I know works well. Alright, so this guy's a bit dusty. Normally I wouldn't leave the Razer dongle on it. Realistically, that needs to come out because this mouse was left in Seattle. Whoopsie doodles. That was back when an Orochi was like 20 bucks though, so I don't think I might even got one for 18. So there you go. That would have been my old setup. Would have been, and originally this wasn't the 6th gen. It would have been a Surface Go Gen 1. And then the Razer Blade Stealth. Actually loved. You would not have loved if you got the, was it the 4 gig model of Surface Go, but I want to say it was Matt over on Austin Evans was super into the Surface Go, I want to say. That's not, I actually bought it on release because I knew I would love it. Like he's somebody else that also really liked it. Yeah, I had to pair this with the Surface Laptop Studio because I didn't realize initially that it takes this stupid one. I mean, it is handy that I can magnet it under the edge and always have it, but it's also shittier. Okay, so this guy, screen up where it's got the microfiber, no problem. Like back when I was running the iPad, or a lot to be truthful, I have the keyboard attachment for a Surface. You really shouldn't need to use this, in my opinion, if you're using a Surface correctly. That's why the pen exists. Scribble, 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 click, 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 tap, tap, you know. I feel like many people buy this and intend on using it like this with the keyboard, and don't realize how shit that is. So everybody's like, oh, Surface should come with a keyboard. It's useless without it. You're using it wrong, then, I'm afraid. And I know Microsoft has sold it that way, so they're selling it wrong. But the reason why they're selling it that way is because they want to sell as many units as they can. The best thing, in my opinion, about tablets, now I could see the new, my mom's got the M4 iPad Pro. That I could see as a laptop replacement if you only use web apps. Like seriously, and that keyboard is really amazing. It's better than at least this generation of flippy flappy keyboard. But up until then, and I would even say, like, does it really need the M4 processor? Probably not. But like, where do tablets shine, for those wondering? When you have a dedicated, here you can actually see where the shmoo from my pen, there you go, and there you go, where it lives on here, where the magnets are. See? Actually wore shmoo into the side of the, this thing will go to Windows 11. I gotta do that yet. I'm only a little bit behind, right? I don't really use it anymore. Oh. But so far, and I've offered it to people, so far nobody has been like, yes, I want the oldest version of a Surface that's compatible with Windows 11, please. And by the way, that's the base model. That's how I got it. Had a friend that bought one of those for graphic design work, and that model is passively cooled. That is the entry-level i5 that comes with the keyboard. If you notice, I have aftermarket keyboard on it. That is because the person I bought it from for real cheap kept all the accessories because they went and bought a newer, higher-end one that wasn't the passively cooled in that generation, because they were basically doing Photoshop work on it, and it was overheating and becoming useless. So that's how I got such a good deal. This right here is the other thing that I was talking about, that Intuos Pro, when's this guy from? Probably 2015, maybe? This is the second gen Intuos Pro. So it might be a little bit later then. There might even be newer ones now. At least when I bought it, it was the second gen. This is the one that has Bluetooth, where if you want wireless, you do not need the proprietary dongle. You can just Bluetooth it. So back then I would have been using my 6th gen laptop and would have paired this to it via Bluetooth. And then at home, use the right angle USB that comes with it and just plug it in. Just because the responsiveness was still better, you know. So will this guy fit in? Sure, it fits in the tablet sleeve. And so if you got an Intuos Pro, I don't know why you would have a Surface Laptop Studio and an Intuos Pro, because the Surface Laptop Studio kind of defeats the whole purpose of having the Intuos Pro, realistically. But you can do it. And you can have this in the tablet sleeve. See, it's still a tablet in the tablet sleeve. I know you guys are probably vomiting because I was bumping the camera so much. But, like, realistically, if you're putting anything that's remotely thick back here, I would not... Oh, yeah, I should say, like, that Surface Go was overlapped with the 6th Gen ThinkPad, as well as the Blade Stealth. But I bought the Blade Stealth when it came with a GPU. My first one died, and Razer was iterating on the laptop so much at that time that they just replaced it with the newer model, because the original Blade Stealths did not have dedicated graphics cards. What I wanted was a 13-inch laptop with a dedicated graphics card. Find me one of those today, please. That isn't an Asus. That's a big qualifier. And there's a reason for that. And Blade Stealth was actually a good product. We got another member of the channel that has the half gen, even newer than mine, that he got when they, like a year after it came out or so. And there was still no real competition. This is the closest I could get. And actually, I'm the type of person that back when I bought my 6th gen, was looking at a Surface, that's a Surface Laptop Studio. That would have been the Surface Book. I'm glad I didn't buy it, because apparently those had huge major PCI Express issues where even if you didn't physically detach the keyboard, like the GPU would detach because it was in the detachable keyboard module. And like effectively, if you wanted to transition from tablet mode to keyboard with dedicated graphics card mode, you had to restart Windows back then because Windows could not cope. Like say if you had Premiere open and you undocked it. If it somehow managed to do the hot plug PCI Express, the software wouldn't take it. So that's where I was like, and you're like, wait, you went with a 6th Gen i3 or your other option was a Surface Book? That's like a sub $1,000 device compared to a $3,000 device. Yes, either it was go it all the way or buy something that would keep me going. And the options at the time were not very good for like 13 max 14-inch device with a dedicated GPU. If you're wondering, guys, I'm the type of guy that in Windows XP era was running a 12-inch laptop, which was available with a dedicated graphics card back then. 12 inches. Dell used to do that. Yes, it'd be thick. That's why. I don't care that you made it chonky. Make it small this way. I don't need it's a laptop. You know, go much wide. Like that 16-inch when I'm sitting, it's like the width of my freaking lap. But yeah, my comments here would be, if when they say 15-inch laptop, it fits the 14 nicely. That's a thick 14. I should also say, way at the bottom underneath here, if you wanted to, you could probably fit some adapters and stuff. Like say if you have a little Ethernet to LAN adapter that you don't use that often, you could probably hook it all the way down in that slit in the bottom. I personally, and if some of you own this, you can tell me how you would do it, but if you have any sort of thick laptop, which a lot of you might if you're running one with a dedicated graphics card, because they even make somewhat sleek ones. They're not as slim as that Blade Stealth by any means, unless you get like a 17 probably. That won't fit in here. So that's kind of a bummer. I will not, like I was saying that I was going to pack all my stuff for work in this and take it and test it out for a week or two. I actually can't do it because the laptop won't fit. You guys saw the corners sticking out and I cannot have that. Something to keep in mind when you're purchasing it is, I would say, like, I think they say 15-inch. I think because that newer Dell 16 is like on the 15.4, 15.6, but with less bezel size, I would say that's even pushing it. Like, you are going, they give you the exact dimensions of your laptop. You will have to check. But if you are a mainline 15-inch plus size laptop user, which is like standard US laptops, having been previously in like the retail market a whole bunch, with this sort of stuff, basically the US buys 15-inch and up laptops. The rest of the world wants 14-inch and smaller. And there's reasons for that. I am definitely like, I would love a modern 12-inch laptop with a dedicated graphics card. If I recall, Linus himself was it the Flow X13, which was effectively like a tablet from Asus. The competitor to the Blade Stealth was also a Flow something. My experience with Asus laptops, however, has not been great. Servicing them, I'm not going to say is impossible, but it is a lot harder than, say, your Dell, HP, Lenovo, and you're like, but you bought a Razer. Right, but I bought the Geek Squad warranty on it. Which meant when anything was wrong, I just handed it to them, and they had to fuck about with it and worry about it. That's your other option. Just be aware, it happened with somehow, when I was having huge issues with that Blade Stealth, Geek Squad happened to have a motherboard that they had for another repair where the repair got canceled or took too long to get the part. I've heard about this at dealerships with cars too. Like, it takes so long to get the part in that they fulfill the warranty, and they just replace it or they take it back or whatever, right? It seems like that is what happened, but then they already ordered the part and they were stuck with it. Luckily, it was the motherboard that I needed, and they could actually repair mine. Because I was about to be super bummed. Because like when I ended up needing it repaired, the product didn't exist anymore. So it depends. Like, if you're going HP, Dell, Lenovo, I say probably, unless you're doing it for work and work is paying for it, then to be truthful, they're probably going to buy the extended warranty because they want it to last 3 to 5 years. How I did businesses and how like ours is currently done is we buy the laptop new with the 3-year warranty where they handle everything, and then we keep it up to 5 years. If it's within the 3 years, we have it repaired. It goes back to the person. They get a loaner, which is probably one of the next laptops, which is once it exceeds 3 years, we don't repair it. And then if it makes it to 5, we replace it. If it hasn't died yet, right? So there are often ones where they will get repaired, but be like right towards the end of the 3-year mark where we might be like, hey, let's just swap you into a new one, and then basically that one becomes an extra. Or starting at the 3-year mark, we start looking at replacing people's, right? And then those extra ones that are still like working, still supported, like we're getting rid of 8th gens, 10th gens, 12th gens we're already getting rid of. Because messing with it and you're like, oh, but I could fix that real cheap. Like, yeah, like you can. When it comes to what do you want to say, like an enterprise environment like that, like re-imaging the OS or replace, like, like say if you have to replace a hard drive, the amount of time it is to reinstall all that software and setup and that sort of stuff may not be worth dealing with a laptop that's been broken. Like, sadly. I'm not saying it won't go back into service in some other way, but like, time versus money. You know what I mean? That was like what I ran into like when my Pixel 6 broke, 7 broke. It was the 7 Pro, the volume rocker went bad. And because I didn't buy it from Google, Google would not do an advanced replacement for me. And I told them, hey, if I have to do an advanced replacement, that means I have to reset up all my work 2-step from scratch. Do I get to charge you for that? Because when you have both phones, you can do a transfer. When you don't, you can't. Yeah, that's like probably like hours of people's time potentially to settle that back up. So, so this pops out very easily. I'm still thinking, I'll let you guys know, I personally keep it upright more. Probably would have wanted the weight more center on the bag and then have the flap come down. But it's very rigid up down here. Like, I thought there was, like, for sure, like a piece of cardboard or something in there. But no, that's just how it's designed. Like, this ring goes all the way top to bottom, and it has, like, a nice thick padding, the same it's on the back here, but all the way there, and it's, like, reinforced. That is actually quite impressive. I would be rocking it for work tomorrow if only it fit all of my, well, not even all my stuff. Just we proved my laptop or my keyboard in its case fit in here. We proved in here in this magnetic pocket that my notebook would have fit, right? We proved my other moleskin hardcover notebook would have fit here. We got a pen spot. I would have probably tried putting my charger at the bottom because I dock at home, I dock at work. Very rarely do I need to charge, right? So that's why it's way at the bottom of the bag. We showed how the tech sack fixed in here beautifully. So like this kind of stupid part where it's like up a little high, right? You can solve that and hold a bunch of your adapters and cables and stuff like that by putting a tech sack in the bottom. I think that should be a combo. LTTstore.com. If that isn't already a combo, you should combo that with this commuter. I know it's already a damn expensive bag. The sides fit amazing for, like we tried, you know, both my Zuriushi water bottle. This is the older one. The new one's even slimmer, actually. I prefer this older. The newer ones also have a lining on them. I don't know if it's PTFE or what it is. I prefer drinking out of the straight stainless steel. And then we tried it with the Mega Boom 3. Fit beautifully in the sides here. The one kind of kicker with this is gonna be laptop size. Check those dimensions and follow them pretty closely, because if you already have a laptop that you need to fit, you may be out of luck if it's a bigger one. And width wise, that's a 16. It's bigger. Now, thickness-wise, all of my previous ones are thicker than that one. Because this one does not have a dedicated GPU, and trust me, I feel it every freaking day. When you run triple 4K monitors, even if you're not doing like video editing and stuff like that, just pushing those pixels and using browsers and like, you know, like Excel is even web accelerated now. You can just tell all the cores in that thing are busy at all times. Like it is always stressed. Let's put it that way. And that's just with my normal workload. And I'm not even doing anything heavy. Like that went to like a U processor, which is the previous two I had at H processors. Yeah. Or you know, like they're transitioning, and that's what you get. You know, maybe I gotta build myself up to be big enough in the old company to be able to request a laptop. Though right now with the shortages and everything, I gotta be glad I even got one. The first one they gave me didn't even have 32 gigs of RAM, and I'm like, okay, so we've been over this, and that was like 3 years ago. I will kill the SSD in that if you give it to me with only 32 gigs of RAM. And you guys might be like, why? Well, the reasoning is I use about 20 gigs. I think it's about 22 now, but with all my stuff open. Yeah, usually about 2 browsers, Office team or Outlook Teams, usually 1 to 2 Excel files, Notepad++, OneNote, ticketing system. You know, like the stuff you just need to do your job, right? You know, various other stuff, and that's about 20 gigs, turns out. So what would happen with only 16 gigs, and my first one only had that, is I would write 4 gigs constantly to and from, because basically the swap files happen, the page files happening, right? And it would constantly, basically, if I swapped programs and that program was in the background, which it almost always would have been, or something would have been, because I'm using more RAM than it's available, and it would just swap it back in. I remember once it dropped below, I don't know if it was when it hit 83, when it dropped below 83%, my performance was like halved on the SSD compared to what it's supposed to be. And then you could run one defrag, which trims the drive, right? And it would double in performance. Then once we got down into the 60-ish% health of the drive, I was doing monthly Windows repairs. Yeah, so we had that discussion, and I was like, hey, yeah, that's literally not gonna work for me. And so I did get a 32 model, but 32 gigs. Well, I was looking at Lenovo's website. An 8 gig 256 will run you $1,000. Like we're going back to, for context, laptop. I bought my mom it was a 2nd gen Intel. Shipped with 4 gigs of RAM and I think a 512 gig hard drive. And it was upgraded to a 8 gigs because basically 4 gigs was minimum back then, because you needed at least 4 to take advantage of 64-bit. That would have been Vista era, for those wondering. I upgraded to 8 gigs of RAM, I think around Windows 7, and a 256 gig SSD. So we are back to like base laptop specs of more than 10 years ago now, because of the RAM shortage. When I was looking on Lenovo's website of ready-to-ship systems as well, there were no laptops, and I'm looking at ThinkPads, by the way. There were no laptops with a 512 gig was the biggest ready-to-ship for an SSD. That's insane, because basically since the launch of Windows 11 with its requirement of 1 terabyte for direct storage, I've recommended terabyte because it was like $100. Like, like if you're going to buy the drive yourself, and it wasn't that much more to do that on like a ordering a system from a company either. The fact that they're shipping 8 gigs 256, so the fact that I got a 32 gig, thank you, work. It does suck though. Really does suck that it's too big to fit in here, and I can't give it a run. Otherwise, I would have ran it for a week or two for you guys, just to because I'm going in multiple days a week. I'm working out of this bag. Depending on what's going on that week too, we may be even going to other locations, or after work to things like events and stuff like that. But that just isn't going to happen. Because you saw corners of my laptop hanging out like 2 little ears. Because even if I did run it, it wouldn't be viable in the long run. I really do think, as long as there are some things that I kind of pointed out that I might have done differently, about like I might have put the laptop sleeve on that side. And I don't know how useful a lot of these pockets are once you get like a thicker laptop. If you basically have an H series CPU in your laptop, you're going to have a thicker laptop. Like also if you have a dedicated graphics card in there, which a lot of people will find out they end up needing. And by the way, I'm not saying you need a 5090 mobile. I actually down-spec'd that to a 3050, I believe. I believe there was 3050, 3060 RTX Ada, 2000 maybe. Due to the wattage requirements, I actually down-spec'd that to a 3050 because I need an graphics card. Right? Like basically, there used to be like the MX chip NVIDIAs. Those were useless though because they couldn't do physics, they couldn't do CUDA. No, that was not an graphics card. But like, so back when they had the X1 Carbon Extreme, which was a 16-inch laptop, I really wanted that for my last on-site job because remember, at least for how we work, is laptop is mainly docked. Even when I was on site, when I come back to the office, docked. At home, docked. And then it needed to be powerful enough when docked to basically act like a desktop, right? But then On the go, it needed to be thin and lightweight enough to only charge on lunch if needed, right? So, like at least a 4-hour battery life of use, 4 hours. And I thought the X1 Carbon Extreme, and I would have put like a 3050 or a 4050, or maybe then back then it would have been like a 2050 in there, and that gets you graphics card to be able to do your triple 4K or equivalent monitor output when docked, and all your acceleration and the benefits of I can do CUDA acceleration. I can run Waifu 2X for those of you out there that know what that is. Actually use that a whole bunch for upskilling many things. But it widens what you can do with your laptop. I like having my laptop effectively be capable of anything that thing can do, just slower, right? So that's going to be a big thing here with this guy is watch your dimensions. 14-inch, even a thick boy, fits no problem. They say up to a 15. That means not 15.4, not 15.6, 15. And especially really like the Dells. Now they're going somewhat away from like the Pro Plus and all that, like their MacBook naming. They realized after it was a year or two that yeah, like if you're like, what do you mean Pro Plus? Mine's one of those, because they only announced it on the latest ones, but they're going away from it. Pro. And if you look down here, it's a Dell Pro 16 Plus. Plus what? Oh, and by the way, that strip denotes this is a 265U instead of a 245 or 255U. What is the difference between those processors? Clock speed. Useless. But yeah, otherwise this cavernous thing, especially if you get yourself a tech sack, I showed that off. My tech sack wasn't opened. You can get in there. I wouldn't, like, a big thing for me is I have quite a few. Okay, I like to carry, there are 2 notebooks in here right now, transitioning from that one to that one. But I carry a memo pad and a notebook and some pens. And I have 2 different pens here. I have, ignore that. This is a Uniball gel style. And then these are rollerball style. Yes, with my freaking yellow tape on it, because otherwise people walk off with them. Even with the tape on there, they walk off with them. And I find it a couple desks down, but at least I know whose it is. Place for that we had a place for, but like I want to have like 3 pens now. On this case, all of these pockets, there's a mouse in there. I don't know how well that would have fit in this other one. Nothing's here because that's for often secondary mouse. We had the number pad. This pouch is headphones and adapters, and that pouch right now is empty. Then there's all pouches along the inside. My charger is in that one here. The cables for the charger are over there. I have my microphone. Yeah, I think I could have fit it all in there had the laptop fit, maybe eschewing the memo pad. Especially if you toss the tech sack in, I don't think I would have had any sort of problem. Oh, what do we have down here? We got something. Is it like snacks? Oh, snacks and drugs. Mentos gum, baby Mentos gum, and Imodium. This I have this thing pretty well kitted out. Like I said, I've been using it for more than 4 years now. And I feel like this could have fit it if the laptop fit. So I think for its size, it's pretty well balanced with the pockets that it has. You are going to have to be pretty purposeful if you were going to fit it with all the stuff that I did. And here's the biggest thing for me. Yes, I could probably stuff all that in there. It has to be accessible. I have, and you'll see what I'm using as my on-site bag now for like on-site like IT support. Right over there. That's actually a thinner, smaller bag. I don't know that everything that's in there could fit in here. It doesn't even fit in there great. That may end up being the LTT, the big backpack. I think back in the day that would have been the backpack to have for on site, had it even been released yet. I have cat butt in my face, which means it's time. The you know, I could have fit what I would consider required for my commute. Paisley, all right, good job. What I would consider like I need for my commute, right? And to be truthful, like a lot of people, that keyboard case is pretty big. I used to have a thinner one for my Happy Hacking keyboard when I didn't carry a wrist rest with it. You could make do. There are some thinner options, but easily fit in there. That was not the issue for me. Some of the other packing, like I said, without the tech sack, might have gotten a bit tight. With that though, I've used that sort of thing before. And that would have unlocked how I like to sort it, because I have like one section of that other bag, one of those pouches, that is literally just USB-C adapters, because I carry a USB-C cable capable of what's needed. This is before they came with the true spec cables from LTTstore.com. And then I just adapt that to whatever I need, power, data, etc. Oh, what's up, Hazer? Yeah, cat button face. I could put that all in the tech stack. If we're talking about the on-site bag, I had 2 different USB to LAN adapters, DisplayPort to HDMI, HDMI DisplayPort, VGA, like all this stuff you need for troubleshooting, and that could have gone in the tech stack. I pulled that out and would have had what I needed. So I think that's a great. I wouldn't say you need it with this bag, depending on how much you carry. It may be a good addition. Let's put it that way. Much like this was saying, like you could fit, and if I take the keyboard out, you can easily fit a change of clothes in there. No problem. I would say the same thing with the commuter, and that is kind of an important thing. Like you could easily fit like change of clothes plus, like probably leave stuff in there, as long as I would kick the keyboard out, which that would be my my way of going. Like same thing with that. If I have to travel, it would be, because I wouldn't, if I know it's only for coming back, you toss your change of clothes in there and take it, because you're probably not going to be in one place, and you're not at a place where you're comfortable enough to need a dedicated keyboard, etc. Like you can just work on the laptop if all you need is a change of clothes that'll fit in your bag like that. So I could just pull that out, slap in, whatever's needed there, and along the way, same sort of thing would have happened there. Like I said, the big hurdle for me, and that is uncontrollable in my part, is the laptop size for the bag. So that's the one thing I can say if they make changes going forward. Maybe square it off a tad, because you saw I could zip it up to those corners. I just couldn't get it up and around. They were trying to go with something different than that, though, right there, which will be in a future video, which is already pretty darn square. So it does not help. Like, I can't control what I'm issued as a laptop. But I don't know if the other models I've had would fit any better, because they start getting thick, right? And if, like I said, if I was an on-site tech, I wouldn't want one that thick. But where I'm mainly going from work to home and using docks, you're effectively using a portable desktop at that point. I think Luke on Land Shows talked about it. He's like, I've considered having like a NUC, like a powerful enough NUC or NUC-shaped object, and then just bringing that back and forth, because if you don't, the thing is here, at that point, you might as well make it a laptop, because then it can operate separately. And there are times when I work from the couch, or I have to work from the, from a conference room, from the food hall. It's not really a lunchroom per se, but you know what I mean, like, or from from a restaurant or event space, you know. So if you're going that far and you're giving people docks, etc., and then you're just like, oh well, is desktop no monitor? I mean, effectively, you might as well just use a laptop at that point. And if it's a single user system nowadays, every company that I know has switched to laptop plus dock or docks for, I don't know, decades at this point, because it just makes more sense. Yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Be prepared. We'll have another one for that big guy. And hopefully this was thorough. If there's something I missed, I can always make a follow-up or make a short. If there's something that you guys want me to try to get in here, let me know. I think with it being the smaller size, you may fill it up quicker than you think, and or you're going to have to get creative with how you do it. Here's another reason why this pull should be shorter. Now it's in there. So now if you zip it, it's going to get stuck again. That's a small, very small quibble. Love these pockets though. On the big one, they're on the inside, and I know that's because they made the outside of that as big as it possibly can be to fly with. Does this have the carabiners on it too? I'll have to check those out. I remember following that, like the whole titanium carabiners, which seemed to be complete freaking overkill. And then we got another screwdriver, mystery screwdriver to check out. Oh, there you go. I made it mystery again. Mystery screwdriver. So hopefully you guys hit that subscribe, that like button, share this out. We got a kitten here who wants to play bags, and I have work to get to in the afternoon. That's when I work, at least. See you in the next one. Peace.